everybody. Welcome to Millennial Hacker Channel. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. So today I have a good friend of mine, known him for about a year now. Garrett. Garrett, thank you so much for taking the time to being on with me as early as it is. Glad you got a little bit more sleep as well. How you doing, man?
Absolutely, doing good. Yeah, me and Tavion have kind of connected, like I said, like he said, about a year ago. Yeah, he's a great dude, and I was happy to be on his podcast.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear. So, so I know what you do. We keep up, here and there about like what's going on. We just had a little chat now just about things going on, new moves that we're going to be making and whatnot. But go ahead and explain to the audience, tell us a little bit more about who you are, and how long you've been doing what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Garrett. I'm 21 right now. And kind of like what I do and when I got started. Literally when I was like 17, 18-ish, I met a dude. And by the way, like where I'm at now and like 3-4 years ago, like the people that knew me then wouldn't recognize me and my behaviors now at all. I was kind of like, I was like a 3-sport athlete in high school. I was more into like just partying and having fun. Like I never, like I was just lost. Like I wasn't
Right.
self-aware. I didn't even know what I wanted. I was just a 17-year-old kid. 18.
Right.
That's the best way to describe it. But anyway, I met a kid that was trading stocks, and not to be condescending at all, but he just didn't seem super intelligent. And it was kind of like one of those things like, shit, like if he can do it, like why can't I? Like I literally met him and he was like, hey, look at this. He was up $2,000 on the day. And I was like, what is that? Like I didn't even
Right.
know. He showed me the little app and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And he like, traded stocks. So I was like, that's it. Like that's my thing. And I just kind of dove into it. He had like a little trading group and a course. In hindsight, his course was awful. But
Just laying it out there.
it was a stepping stone. It got me started. It got me into it. And yeah, I've been trading stocks for like the past 3 years now. That's kind of been like my main thing. I've done everything under the sun, like hustle wise, like trying new things out.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what I do. The main thing I do is without a doubt, like trading stocks. I take on clients for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a sales guy too. And we can talk about this. I don't really know how you want to structure the conversation, but sales was definitely revolutionized kind of like my progress and everything like that. So
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I feel that. So, obviously we both are somewhat similar in the market. You focus mainly on the stock market. I've mainly focused on the forex market. When you just said, your friend, showed he was up $2,000, right? Because you were talking about how you went from like, you were 17, 18 at the time, you were partying, and that, that's all you wanted to think about and do. You said, you didn't know what you wanted to do at that time. So what was it about stocks, about it? Like the moment you saw that, like, what was it that really like inspired you and gave you that feeling of like, this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. Like what pushed you to that?
yeah, that's a good question. So I guess I wouldn't say I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Um, I was stuck at a really young age. Like I had back problems really bad.
Oh man.
I played sports and stuff, and I was always getting hurt, and I always just had back issues. And I went to the chiropractor from when I was like a newborn on.
Mm-hmm.
3-4 weeks after I was born, I got adjusted by a chiropractor. So I liked that job in the sense of like when people came to me or a chiropractor or whatever, they left happier after seeing me. And I thought that was dope. Like
Right.
making people feel better, like, and just helping people, like people are happy to see me. Like that was my ideal thing. And I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. And I'm like, they make a lot of money. So it's like a win-win. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I had my mind set on for a really long time. Basically until I met that kid. And he probably doesn't even know that this changed my life or my mindset as much as it did. But yeah, I just saw that like there's another way. Like
Right.
it's not, I don't know. And also like in school and stuff, like I was always smart, but I was like a 3-sport athlete. I didn't really enjoy, like it wasn't like stimulating to me like at all. I just kind of went through the motions and I got good grades, cheated on a lot of homework and stuff. Just
I feel that. I feel that.
this isn't, I don't, it's not worth my time.
Right. So yeah, no, I mean, basically, you just have the mindset of what like many people, or actually, I would say probably few people have is I want more for myself, but I'm actually gonna do something about it, right? That was the mindset you had at that point, which is absolutely phenomenal, and I know that's definitely like one of the key steps to success. So, definitely, I gotta make up a point, because I remember, I saw this on your Instagram one day. I don't think I ever said anything to you about it, but like it wowed me and surprised me. But I remember you made a video on your reel. And I want you to talk about this because I mean, people watching, I mean, this is impressive if, doing this at 21. You said that, you trade or you worked with clients and whatnot, and you generated, and then correct me if I'm wrong, but you generated, was it 1.2
Yeah.
million dollars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's absolutely, I mean, that's astounding to first off to talk about. So congratulations to you on that, man. $1.2 million. I mean, $21, 21 years old. So what was that experience like? What was it like when you hit that mark of I was able to generate, help clients generate that million, at that point, $1 million mark? Like, can you explain a little bit more about that?
It's a fulfilling thing in the world. It was amazing. Um, and granted, I have some clients that definitely have larger portfolios, so
Right,
it's a lot easier to hit that number when they have a larger account.
right,
But yeah, it feels amazing. I've I don't know. I guess some advice to you that doesn't quite answer the question, but I'll come around to that is look at your circle right now. And if you don't see those people being there 2 years from now, remove them. Just plain and simple, remove them.
okay,
If you want to move forward and they're an anchor or a fucking sandbag on you and you're trying to move forward, it's just dragging out the process.
right,
Um, so anyway, I literally removed everyone from my life that didn't add value or didn't give me anything for like a
right,
year. I was like basically a loner. And I was fine with that. Because once I like self-isolated, I became like really self-aware and realized that, this, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like I was like partying and stuff, and then I was like, okay, like I don't want to do this anymore. And that's when I kind of like dropped out of college. And basically my point is I only talked to people or spoke to people that had stuff going on. Like Tavion, like you got a podcast, like you're doing shit. And I
appreciate you, man.
like that's what draws me to you is you have a sense of passion, like you do stuff. So as I started rebuilding my circle and rebuilding the people that I connect with and talk with and hang out with, is if you don't have something going on, you're not passionate about something, you're not in my circle.
Right.
That's it.
Plain and simple. I like that. No, that's actually a great answer, and I can resonate with that. So, I'll actually have a follow-up question. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. But anyway, so in doing that, I connected with a lot of business owners, a lot of people in my area. So the 1.2 million was largely by like 4 of my clients because they're all business owners in my area. Like they own a couple restaurants, they own some real estate, and they
Okay.
had a relatively like large stock portfolio. And one guy in particular, and I won't say his name, is this super in private guy.
Right.
Um, but I came into his cafe because I was trading in there and I wanted to use the Wi-Fi, and I was meeting up with a friend. And he's like, "Holy shit, you're 20 years old at the time and you're like doing this?" And he literally just came out. He had his whole portfolio printed out, and I was like about to shit my pants because I've never seen this much money in my life. And he's like, "How does it look? Like, what should I do?" And I was like, "Wow." So it was just eye opening for me to even be like, he wants my advice.
Right.
That was crazy to me. But yeah, basically he came to me, like his portfolio at the time was like $3.5 million. And I gave him not financial advice, but I gave him some pointers or whatever, some things to look at. And he came back to me and he's like, "Hey, it's at like 4.2." And I was like, holy shit, like it was like 700K. So that was a large bump in that number without a doubt. Yeah,
Insane.
I guess roundabout that number is so big because I have people in my circle that I connect with now that have large amounts of money, so it's easier, like percent return wise, to get to that point.
Right. That dude, that's phenomenal. And I mean, I knew, the moment you said, when he came out, he showed his stuff and like, hey, this is what my portfolio looks like. And then coming to you, I'm sure, I mean, you basically just said it, but I'm sure at that moment you felt like, wow, like this is like amazing that like, you still wanting to come to me and asking me about like, hey, what should I do differently or how could I, make this better? What should I look out for? That's absolutely amazing. So I'll say there was one question I want to ask it or say before I forget.
Right.
And then if I remember the another one, I'll ask it as well. But I want to go back to the whole when you were talking about your environment, right? Because
Yeah.
I know I mean, I can definitely relate with that when it comes to like, you got to think about who is in your circle now. Can you see them being there, 2 years from now, 3 years, 1 year, whatever it may be? And it's more importantly is, are these people, like you said, are they adding value in your life? Are they supporting you? Are they also pursuing something else? Because for me, my rule, and to anybody watching this, friends, family, and whatnot, I have a rule now in my life where it's like, friend or family, in the end of the day, love you and whatnot, but I gotta do what I have to do, and if that means you're mentally draining me somehow, I feel like you're pulling me back, and you gotta cut it off, and a lot of people don't want to do that, right? A lot of people nowadays feel entitled that because they know this person, because they've been friends for this amount of time, they can't do, they can't cut them out just simply because. So what would you say to people like who have that feeling of, what, this person is bringing me down, but I feel like in a sense I owe them. I feel like I still have to be there for them. Like what would you say to that person who like they have that gut feeling, they know they should do it, but they're not going to do it?
Yeah, and I felt that for a while because, by the way, this has no restraints. There isn't any exceptions. Well, yeah, but this is my best friend since we were in kindergarten. Yeah, this
Absolutely.
is my mom or my dad. That doesn't matter. If they genuinely care about you and there's a mutual relationship where they want the best for you and you want the best for them, and by the way, if that's not there, then there's nothing else to think about. Cut them. But if you genuinely they want the best for you and you want the best for them, then you stepping away, bettering yourself, and coming back to them with an even stronger relationship where you can help them even more,
Mm-hmm.
that is good for them. So if they can't understand, I need to step away for my personal benefit to come back to you, like, let's be real. If you really want to make a change in the world, and you don't have any money, you really can't do it. Like if you want to save everybody in Africa and stop the hunger over there, or you want to take homeless people off the street, you can't do that if you're broke.
Right.
And you can't be surrounded by people who are just chilling or they're screwing around or they're getting drunk 5 days a week. Like you can't do that. So if you really want to help someone, you can come back, build up some capital, build up some like human capital, give yourself some skills, and then come back to them. And hey, they're in a bad situation and you care about them because that's your mom or that's your dad. Dope. Take them to Hawaii for a week. Buy them
Mm-hmm.
a house, buy them a new car. Like that's what I mean by stepping away, not cut them off and forget they exist.
Right, absolutely. And no, I'm really glad you touched up on that too, because I think oftentimes, even with that is maybe, or actually, I'm gonna say maybe, I think a lot of times it's just like they maybe don't have that motivation for themselves, right? So, like you were just saying, like if you were to take somebody to Hawaii, take them on a trip or do something to get back, basically you being that example of like, hey, you knew me my whole life, or you knew me for some part of my life, and you knew where I came from, and you saw where I am now. If I can go from there to here, so can you. And I love that you basically, you lay that down, just giving that, motivation of like this can happen for you. And it also, like I said, it not only does it increase motivation and dedication, but I think it increases relationships. I think it can increase the belief system that people have within themselves as well. So I'm really glad that you touched up on that, Garrett. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
So
and also in that process of like stepping away from them, there will be backlash with some people. Like
absolutely.
I have friends from first grade that were like, "Oh, you think you're hot shit? You trade stocks now, and oh, you're like reading these books. Like, why the fuck are you reading? Like they're not gonna understand." And in all honesty, there's a sense of jealousy because it's like we're in the same room doing the same shit as of a month ago, whatever, a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
week, and now you are doing things better for yourself, and it's like it makes them like jealous or like shit. I know I have the potential that he does, but I don't have the balls to do it. So if
Right.
I see you do it, I got to pull you down to my level so I feel better about myself.
Exactly. Exactly. It's the whole thought. It's the whole thought process of these people. Excuse me. People having this, like, people have a first impression of you, right? People, whether they like you or they don't like you, they have this first impression of you. And when someone is making it, when someone is, or even making progress, but it's like little progress, a lot of progress, those people, have that still thought like, wait a minute, I remember this kid, I remember this guy, I remember this girl.
Yeah.
And they have this thought like, I'm better than that person, right? And that's the whole point of bringing it down. And that's actually, and that's everything, definitely, like in life, when people want to tear you down, it's because they have this sole thought behind the back of their minds thinking, I am better than this person, or there's no way that this person who I thought myself of more highly of, is doing better or is doing great for themselves. And it's always, pondered. I don't think I've ever said pondered in my life, but it's always pondered on me that why people do that and whatnot. So in the end of the day, you're absolutely right though. Like when you said, or the guy said something about, like, you're out here doing this, you think you're hot stuff, you're doing this. But people don't realize, like, what you want in life, what you want to get, you have to like work. You have to keep your head down and work. People say they know it, but people give like a week or 2 weeks or maybe a month, but if they don't see results instantly, they quit. So that actually want to lead me to my next question. What, like, how could you break down work ethic for people when it comes to, if they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to get into stocks, like, what is your advice when it comes to, like, hey, this is what hard work looks like if you want this lifestyle you want? So what would you tell to somebody before they quit within the week or two?
Um, don't get an entrepreneurship.
Simple as that.
Blatantly honest. Like, there's a lot of like, fuck the 9 to 5, back to the 9 to 5. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Like, if you want to get into the entrepreneur game and you got $200 in your pocket, maybe you should get a job. Like,
Right.
I'm not kidding. Like, it's so much easier to get into a new venture, start a business, whatever, when you have at least like 5K in your pocket. Like, it's tremendously easier.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, like, money aside, like your work ethic, the biggest transition from like I do whatever to make money to I'm in entrepreneurship or I'm starting my own business, there's no one like saying, hey, like, are you working? Hey, get back to work. Like, eyes on your paper, hey, get back to work. You can't be on your phone at work. There's no
Right.
alarm clock. Shit, I have to be at work at 7. That's you. And if you don't have like the inner like oomph or whatever to like
Right. Right.
self do shit, then you like won't make money and you won't like make progress in your business. And like when you get stagnant, it gets so much harder to move.
Absolutely.
And it's just, if you don't have that, and don't get me wrong, sometimes I get in slumps where it's hard for me to work a shit ton. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like if you don't have the work ethic and the inner drive to make yourself do stuff and like work, then the money won't come.
Right. Simple as that. I'm glad you broke that down. I'm actually glad. You're keeping it also very real. So I want to thank you for this as well. Like, keeping it real, saying like, hey, you're not gonna make it if you do it or whatnot. So people watching that, because many people would think, wow, that's harsh. Like, oh man, why would he say that? But in reality, it's like, you gotta, like, in reality, you want to keep it real. Like, reality, real, keep the two together.
Yeah,
So
like I've been in this game for like 3 years and I've probably spun, I was like a hamster on a wheel, just running in place for like a year and a half. And if I had somebody smack me in the face and be like, get your shit together and start working hard and stop talking and start working, I would have been so much further ahead. So like, I want to be that smack in the face for somebody to be like, I need to wake up. And if this is what I want to do, I need to like put the work in.
right. Absolutely. And thank you so much for touching on that, Garrett, again. So, next question, especially that I have here, getting into stocks. Obviously, when it comes to success, even if whatever you want to do, even if you want this job, but you want this certain position, there's gonna be bumps in the road. Like in life, life has bumps in the road. Everybody knows that. So when it came to learning stocks or any part of your journey towards being, building up that entrepreneur lifestyle, what were some of the challenges or early challenges that you faced that put you that really tested you, but you overcame, and how did you do that?
Yeah, so I think with anything you do, it's there's ups and there's downs. Um, there would be, especially with just trading stocks, we can start on that. To where it's like, I don't know anything, I know everything. I don't know anything, I know everything. So it was like, oh, I know everything, and then bam, you have a bad week, you lose 30% of your portfolio. And then it's
Like,
like you step back and you're like, it's like a shot to the ego. It's like I really thought I knew what was going on, and then I don't even know what happened this week, and now I'm down a bunch of money. And then if you're in that mind state of being down, and then you go back to trade, and then it's like you're down more because you have less confidence, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle on the downside and on the upside. Um, so yeah, and I guess just like a self confidence and a high self esteem, I think is super underrated. Because if you kind of don't have that chip on your shoulder, to be like, I lost $1,000 this week, but I'm gonna bounce back and make it back this week.
right, simple as that.